Welcome to Game Club Central.
Brother's nephew's cousin's former roommate.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Supper Club Presents Pizza Time. My name is Marty, and this is presented by Game Club Central and the creators of Virtual Pinball Community. Tonight, we are blessed with Sixtoe, my friend Toby, also affectionately known now as Benny Hill, due to all the chaos that occurs in his house. But I'll let you judge that as the interview progresses. Toby, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me. Time that well, while I was having a drink.
Yeah, no. What are you drinking?
Gin and tonic. Tanqueray with Schweppes tonic water.
Schweppes? We call it Tanqueray here in the U.S., but I do believe that's incorrect.
I've got no idea.
We even have commercials. They're like those Fanta commercials, you know, where the girls dance around in the colorful outfits. You probably don't know what I'm talking about.
We don't get that. I want that Fanta advert. We have rubbish ones with just like cans, wet cans being good.
Rubbish, as they say. You do better than that. I'm drinking twisted tea, and it's a blueberry tea. We'll see.
Blueberry tea?
Yeah, blueberry. It's twisted, so it's got a little bit of a hard, edge to it.
Nice.
No, wait a minute. Let's show off our pizzas. I got a local favorite. It's called Cardo's Pizza. It's not bad, thin crust. People will critique me, but I just got pepperoni today. I wasn't in the mood for any spicy flavors, but how about you? What'd you pick?
I got dearie me.
There's Benny Hill, ladies and gentlemen. I told you.
Yeah. It's my local generic pizza box.
Okay, what's inside it?
Non-generic pizza place. It is beef
that looks good.
Jalapenos, peppers, onions, English mustard, which is odd. You don't normally get that on a pizza. It's lovely.
Was that a bit of spotted dick I saw in there as well?
Yeah, but then we put some ointment on that and it clears up after a while. It's fine.
Yeah, that's better than Herculoids. I mean, so Toby, people want to know more about. I mean, I do. I want to know more about the man behind the work. The work is great, and we all appreciate it. But can you tell us about your hobbies outside of pinball? Do you have any pets? What else do you like to do for fun?
Yeah, I do Kyokushin karate. I'm a second dan black belt. I really enjoy it. I like to teach, so that's really good. Even though I'm a bit injured at the moment, so which is a bit rubbish, but you get used to that being old. So yeah, I play Warhammer. I like Star Wars.
I couldn't tell that.
I know, it's shocking. I know. And I've got 2 dogs, Nelly and Stitch, pugs.
Did you say Ellie and Stitch?
Nelly.
Nelly, okay.
Nelly the elephant.
Nelly the elephant.
If you've not heard that, that's probably a British nursery rhyme rather than anything.
I have a pug as well. His name is Gojira, and he's fat, and he has a superiority complex. So I'm really curious. Is he nearby? Can you put him on?
They are. They're at the moment. They're trying to eat each other.
Oh, okay. We'll pull one away and put some deliciousness in front of the camera.
I will. Stitch, hey. Oh
my God. Oh my God. That is cute. Stitch is awesome. Now I'm disappointed that Joe Picasso, thank you Joe Picasso for drawing the character art, didn't put a pug in your arm. They're both pugs.
Yeah. Oh. And this is Nelly.
Oh God.
She's a bit more of the she's more of the elder stateswoman. She's about 4 and Stitch is 1, and so she puts up with him.
So Is Nelly the crouchy one that barks at all the neighbors?
Yeah, grouchy, dislikes cats, dislikes anyone in the back garden, and Stitch just wants to be everyone's best friend constantly, and always
Wags
wants
his
to play
tail.
with Nelly. At which point, after about 5 minutes, Nelly goes, "No, I'm too old for this. Get
I
off."
think you're a little young for what I need right now. Do they have the double tail curl?
Yes,
Oh, that's so
yeah,
awesome.
yeah.
Pugs, ladies and gentlemen, we do not endorse them, but they are very cute. They're genetically not very well health dispositioned. So take care of your pug. Make sure you clean the folds.
Exactly. Yeah. Degrease the folds.
Degrease your pug. Um, I'm still disappointed we didn't put a pug. I'm going to ask Joe to redo the graphic with a pug in your arm. So your avatar, it is pretty bitchin', as mine is as well. I don't want to give you too big of a head here, but your name, it's all over virtual pinball, and I've been clamoring to get my name all over virtual pinball. Are you my father?
There was that dark and stormy night
It
in.
wasn't in Kentucky, was it?
See, I can't remember. It was something to do with. There was fried chicken involved and some strange motel on.
I mean, between the incredibly suave demeanor you have and the incredibly well manicured facial hair, I mean, we just have such similarities. I thought we might be related. I'll get a DNA test and we'll get back to everybody on those results. But I was also curious. Your name is Sixtoe.
Yeah.
Do you have six toe, or are you what's going on? Are you part of an Indian burial mound, or is it in numerology where it means that you are the number 11? And I'll give you the significance of that if you tell me that that is where it comes from. But can you
It
tell me where
is.
six toe comes from?
Sixto actually comes. It's a really old nickname. When I first started work, and I worked for the same company I started work for back in the dawn of time.
Don't time.
I joined at 16, so I was the lazy teenager, and I just used to hang off the door of the office to the tech support guy, and he said, "You're hanging off that like a six-toed sloth." So,
Six.
and I was like, because he said, you just sort of stay there, you're really slow to move, and it stuck. Ever since then, I adopted it as my email, and I've been Sixtoe for 40 years or something.
I believe that gentleman would probably eat his words today. You're not very slow, from what I had seen. So you do a lot of different things. I had a hard time. I'm pretty new to the intricacies of who creates what and how it's created and whatnot. But when doing my research for you, and I reached out to you, I had no idea what you did other than being a part of VPN Workshop. Then I posted on Facebook, and there was a gentleman that said, "Oh, that's the VR room master." I don't think any of us really understand the level of involvement you have and how you're kind of a jack of all trades. At least from my research, you've done scripting, VR rooms, obviously. You've done inserts and lighting. What caught my eye the most, though, was the release notes on Taxi mentioned you were responsible for fiddling about. Can you tell me what that entailed?
Fiddling about, yeah, just messing around till it works, clicking all the buttons, unclicking all the buttons, and it drives. Because I'm terrible. Whenever if you look at the VPW tables in the script, there's normally a change log at the bottom, and I'm terrible for remembering what I've done. So I'll go in and I'll have the table and our editor open, and I'll spend a day just doing stuff, and then I'll get to the end of the day and go, I've got to write what I've done. I can't remember what I've done. I'll change some stuff and fiddle about till it works, and then
Perhaps.
save and send it.
I wonder if we could solicit beer donations on VPU for you, and we could train Stitch to become your assistant and take notes for you as you're developing tables.
He'd probably try and eat the keyboard, but you know.
There is that.
Yeah. Make even less sense than I do, as he just licks his way from one side of the keyboard to the other.
And I'm gonna let you just kind of run off here because you've got a really cool story. I think you and I talked a little earlier, but without I don't know. I don't want to sound disparaging to you, but you have been in this hobby a long time. You're an old man when it comes to this hobby.
Yeah.
Can you kind of tell us how you got started, where you came from? There's some people interested in your main background a little bit too. So if you could talk a little bit about what you used to do there, educate us.
So I'm obviously from the UK, and I grew up just outside to, and then moved to a seaside town that had 7 or 8 large arcades on the seafront. And I was always into arcades. I was, going down there. One of my earliest memories is we owned a fish and chip restaurant when I was really young. We got a Galaxians machine in there. Standing on a milk crate playing Galaxians when I was about 4 or something, and I always loved it. And I always went to the arcades, and then it sort of petered off when the consoles started coming because they were a bit better.
Double
But
dribble.
then in about 97, 98, MAME came about. Like, it was really early days for emulators. And it was called something else before MAME, but I can't remember what it was. And it was amazing because you could play all these old arcade games, and every day, every week, there was a new game emulated. And I got into the hobby, and just, like you do, you download the emulator and find the ROMs. And one day, one of the websites, a little for an emulator called System 16, the guy who ran it, Thierry Lescott, Shinobi's, he basically said he didn't have enough time to run the website, so I took the website over, and it's still there, system16.com, which is, I still run it even though I haven't updated it in about 5 years. And it's all about old arcade hardware. And as I got more into it, I started to find bits of documentation and find out what games are on what hardware. So I ended up getting invited to join MameDev early on, sort of in early 2000s.
Yeah, like 2002, somewhere in that.
Yeah, something like that. 2001, 2002. It was about then. And I've never been a programmer, but what I've always been good at is finding stuff. So, I found out what games worked on what hardware. So if you take it from a pinball, what's on Williams System 11, or what's on this or what's on that. So when you got the code, you could just plug it in and it worked. And and I remember WPC MAME being added as a driver to MAME to run the original Williams pinball games for the music, because no one could do anything with it.
Right.
It was just there. So MAME's always sort of emulated the hardware first, and worried about the games and everything that came else with it afterwards. Just get it working first. And so and I spent ages. Even my background was in video. It was all video emulation, because at the time you couldn't really do anything with pinballs. And also there wasn't much pinball. Pinball's nowhere near as big in the UK as it is in America. We just didn't have the amount of machines, because obviously they had to ship them over to England.
Well, and they were more popular, I believe, in Germany and France than they were in the UK.
Yeah, and Hungary's super. Hungary was super. Yeah, because in Hungary they banned video games, but they didn't ban pinball games
because of the mechanical aspect.
Yeah, and Zen are based out of Hungary,
right?
And that's why they're all pinball heads, because they didn't have video games growing up.
That's cool. I never knew that.
So, So yeah, so I did loads of stuff to do with MAME. There's that stuff I'm really proud of, and
So were you involved in the early pin MAME stuff?
not really. It was more mainline MAME. I really, it was all the documentation sort of things that I tended to do, and just where I could. I found the I found the programming manual for Sega Model 2, which is like Daytona USA and Sega Rally and stuff like that, which is why that's emulated. So that's probably one of the things I'm most proud of, managing to track down that manual. It's the only English one that exists in the world.
Yeah,
because
that's awesome.
Sega are Japanese. But yeah, and then it went quiet for ages as I just became a consumer, did work, got children. Life happened, and then then ages later, I think Pinball Arcade got me back into it because I was commuting all the time and I wanted something to play on the train.
Just on your laptop.
And yeah, well, I was on an iPad.
Oh, jeez.
So yeah, so I got Pinball Arcade. And I thought, I remember this. I like this. This is good fun. And so yeah, I became a consumer for a few years, and I think I was just hanging around pinball, vpinball.com, and I think it was Dark put up a scan of the Joust playfield, or rather about 4 different part scan. It was massive. It was like 16K scan of it. And I scanned it and I put it together. And I thought, that was good fun. I wonder if there's anything else I could do.
Is that when that gentleman approached you about his Starship Troopers table?
Yeah, I just read on MB was asking about some help with Starship Troopers and getting it working, and I thought, oh well, I can try and put the playfield together. I can try and improve the playfield because it was a bit manky, and see if I can make it better. And because I've had a fair bit of, it was silly with for my website. I do things like I used to cut the arcade machines out and make them look pretty, so they were nice in the background. So I've got a bit of Photoshop experience doing that. So I started doing it, and then I got it installed on the table, and I was like, that's not quite right. So I moved something on the table, and then I just literally started playing, as in, sorry, not playing the game, messing about.
Yeah, moving things around and.
Yeah, and I thought, and it made sense, and it also scratched an itch I have for building stuff, because I've got my little mini arcade thing there, and I think there's Lego stuff over there, and I tend to enjoy putting stuff together and making stuff. And it was like, I can do this. Is all right. I can do all of this.
Once you start with Legos or anything like that, it's hard to get rid of that.
Yeah, and I was really lucky in that. So I've got really into Starship Troopers, and I got it working, and I got most of it working. And MB was doing the 3D side of thing because I didn't know how to use Blender at the time. I'd never even downloaded it. And
but you looked at him, I'm guessing, and said, "I'd like to know more."
Yes,
I had to. Nice. I love Starship Troopers.
It's great film, great and misunderstood film. Yes, but yeah, and I suppose in a way it was lucky that it had a toy on it, which is the Warrior Bug, which is on the right hand of the table, and it moves forwards and backwards with a target underneath, but it sort of staggers, and it's on a weird stepper motor.
Yeah, like a staggered slide.
Yeah, and I like I say, I can get by with a little bit of really basic code. Like I do HTML, but I looked at this, I was like, I've got no idea. And at the time, I think Gold Chico or someone was who were also doing Starship Troopers. But I was, at this point, I was knee deep in it, and I was having too much fun learning. And I saw that a guy who some of you might know called DJ Rob X.
Mhm.
They'd reached out. He'd done the Warrior Bug code for it. So I tracked him down, reached out to him, said, "Can you give us a hand?" But I wanted to know how it worked. I didn't want him to do it. I wanted him to teach me how to do it because I wanted to figure out. I like to know how things work.
Yeah, teach a man to fish. Don't just fish for him.
I've got an engineering sort of brain, and I wanted to know how it worked. So bless him, he spent weeks teaching me how VPX worked and how this worked and how script and things like that. And there were points where I was like literally just pulling my hair out, and I imagine he was as well. He taught me all of the stuff, and then we sort of finished off Starship Troopers. Really proud of it.
It's a great
but still
table.
was looking up. Yeah, it's good. I'm glad that people liked it. But then I was still looking up to people like Nor and some other creators like that, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. I wonder what I could do next. And as I was sort of saying this, Rob basically said, "Have you tried VR? Have you got a cabinet?" I went, "No, I haven't really got anywhere to put it at the moment, and I'm not sure I'd use it if I had it. I'm not sure." And he goes, "Well, have you tried VR?" And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Well, you should. It's really good. You really like it." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And because I was on a high and everything, I was just like, "Okay, I'll go and get one then." So I went off and got one for my birthday, and I tried it, and I instantly fell in love with it. And I've tried stuff before, and it was all a bit ropey and manky. And I tried VR for VPX, and it just blew me away. I still think it's its killer app, but the problem is the way that VPX works is that everything's flat, so it looks really good when you look at it on a screen from above.
Flat screen.
But when you look at it in VR, it just looks like a load of floating discs. It looks like a weird Tron sort of vibe going on. So, because what did we do? Oh, we did X-Men LE. So DJ Robert converted it to the LE version, but then we decided that we were going to make a VR version. We were going to also do some other work to it, tidy it up, make it pretty. I was going to add all of the nuts and bolts and all sorts of nonsense. And we got it working in VR. And in getting it working in VR and going back and looking at Starship Troopers, I sort of figured out what caused the problems in VR and sort of worked my way through there. And so once I got rid of those two tables and reproduced them, I went on a run and just basically tried to fix all of my favorite games so that they worked in VR. So, because sometimes
with the dimension of the objects.
Well, it was, not just that, but things like sometimes the way that there's a thing called depth bias, which is in which order something's in, and if it's wrong, you can see through it, or you can see through the table and other stuff like that. Or when a flasher goes off, the whole table flashes,
right,
and gives you sort of like your eyes go funny. So it's really weird when it happens. It makes you feel proper seasick sometimes. And so I got the hang of fixing it, and I got to the point where I could eyeball it. But to make my life easier as well, at the same time, I made a thing called I can't remember what I called it now, the VR toolkit.
Yeah, it's one of the questions I had for you. I appreciate you making that, but yeah, can you tell us about that toolkit? I was curious as a green person, is that designed for me to go and create a VR room? Is that what that is?
Yeah, it's a really basic. It's a 3D model of a cabinet and a room. Now the room is literally a roof, a floor, and the two walls in front of you.
Blank.
So it's and you can copy and paste the right images. It comes with a set of texture templates, so you can just throw on whatever textures you want. And if you know any VPX, you can sort of just open them both up and copy the whole thing and paste it across, and it should just work. And it was to sort of lower the barrier of entry so that it wasn't just me. And I'd spent time getting, I'd made a Stern cabinet, or Williams. Flupper made Third Axis made a WPC 95 table for Adam's family. Flupper refined it, so it was a lot. Not refined it. He what's the word? Streamlined it, so it's very low resource for Tales of Arabian Nights.
Optimized.
He's VRing for that. Yeah, optimized. So because VR's really heavy for processor and graphics cards. And then I took Flupper's one and sort of optimized it even more by making it basic. Just if you wanted to get it and just drop it in really easily, because the Tales of Arabian Nights room's lovely. It's really nice.
It is
but I wanted something really, really basic, so that you could have a little room in VR, but you didn't have to have all the detail. You just got literally 4 flat walls.
You're very creative with your VR rooms too. I was looking at NBA Jam the other night, and I happened to look under the cabinet, and I noticed the bags there. I'd never seen that before.
I think a lot of that is down to, there's a couple of guys. Is Rord. Rord is he does all the big VR rooms.
Okay.
He does a load of good stuff. So and there's a couple of others that do, but Rord is
I've seen a lot from him.
Yeah, that's his thing, is the actual room itself. It's a couple of the things that we've done. Him and Third Axis has done some stuff as well. The VPW Congo room has got a fantastic VR room done by Third Axis and Rord.
Okay.
And it's so it kind of went on like that, and then I got a message saying I basically got invited to the then brand new VPW Discord as the VR guy.
The VR master.
And and sort of started off by doing that. But
how long you been with VPW?
It was pretty soon after it started.
Is that 2 years?
I honestly don't know. I kind of my memory is rubbish. I forget.
Yeah, I'm just curious.
The day before
Ballpark, that's fine, but
something like that. Probably about 2 years.
Something like 1.5 to 2 years is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, something like that.
It's fascinating what you guys have done as a team together. So for you, I've noticed you've been project lead on a couple of tables. What does that entail, and is it hard to keep the troops motivated, so to speak?
Well, no. I mean the VPW, the way I think the reason VPW works as well as it does, well, at least we think it works as well as it does.
We, as viewers, think it's incredible and amazing how many people can work together, for what it's worth. But I'm sorry I interrupted.
Yeah, no, it's the project lead is the person who has the overall, because obviously the too many chefs and all that sort of thing. Each project has got a project lead, and they are, at the end of the day, the vision is their creative vision. So depending on the lighting and how you want to do it and what you're going to play and whether you're going to go for a full blown ground up rebuild. Yeah, exactly, like a light or we've got some internal names, but they don't mean anything because we've got stuff in. But yeah, I mean, you've got something like Judge Dredd, which was built literally from a blank VPX up to things that we've just tidied up and added physics to and fixed some.
Yeah, but Judge Dredd, if I remember correct, you guys started with an original table and then just threw it out and started from scratch on that, right?
Yeah. I looked at, and funnily enough, it came from looking at it in VR, because Judge Dredd is a very English thing. It's a UK comic book.
Really?
Yeah, 2000 AD is.
I swore that was American. Sylvester Stallone played that guy.
He did, and it's a terrible, terrible film, and they should be ashamed.
I couldn't resist. I'm sorry.
I know. The Carl Urban Dread, however, is very good.
Did you see the remake?
You did the Carl Urban one, Dread?
Yeah, Carl Urban. Thank you. Yeah, I really enjoyed that.
It's really good. It's really good. And the interesting point for that, the lead filmmaker, for the lead cinematographer for that, for the slow motion shots, is the guy from the Slow Mo Guys. If you've ever watched the slow motion channel on YouTube.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. He actually did the slow motion footage for that. But yeah, so Judge Dredd was a complete build from the ground up. But it's because I looked at it in VR.
In VR, yeah.
And it just looked. I mean, it was. I don't want to disparage any of the older stuff because it's.
But it wasn't written for VR. You're not disparaging anything. It's
no, exactly, and it was written in VP9. So it's things like when you've got the wire runs and the loops on the wire runs, they were actually made. They were individual rubbers, textured silver. So they had to go. So they'd manually, each wire was a little silver ramp, and each of the loops were a metal textured rubber around these ramps. Yeah, I mean, for what it is, it was a work of art at the time. It's a miracle they actually managed.
But in VR, that didn't translate well.
No, it was all flat and looked terrible. But so we just rendered it from. I mean, we built it completely in 3D. Well, Tomate built it completely in 3D.
You say tomate, I say tomato.
And that's also what we've got in with going back to why it works. It's what we have in VPW in that we've got experts in every aspect. You've got people who have come in. We've got people like everything from Brad 1X and Astro Nasty and people like that. They're amazing at art and drawing. You've got Apophis, Wild Fluffhead, Ayaki, who are amazing programmers. And you've got like Fleep and Clark Kent and Nor and people like that who are amazing at sound and audio, all of the stuff they do for that. And 3D wise, there's Tomate, Board, loads of people, and everyone just chips in. And it's like sometimes if you get to a job a project that's very multifaceted like VPX is, where you've got loads of different components, there's always something that you're not going to like doing as much, or you're not as confident doing, or you just struggle with. Mine is proper difficult coding, like actual like in Judge Dredd, the Dead World in Judge Dredd is stunningly complicated, and we all really struggled with that. And thankfully, Ayaki and the Fishbowl managed to figure it out. And I mean, I know that table and the script back to front, but there's a section in the middle of it, and I think I've even commented it in the script, is like, "Here be dragons."
You actually did comment that, because my nickname is Dragony, and it called attention to that. Thank you.
Yeah. So, and that's it. So you don't have to do the bit, or you don't have to frustratingly bash your head against the wall on something you're just not good at, or it could take you 2 or 3 days and you make a half-assed effort, and then they'll come along and do it in 5 minutes and fix it and take all the stress away, which keeps it fun.
Yeah.
And that's why we all do it, because we enjoy it.
We do. And then, you guys create it, and just so they don't go unmentioned. And then there's wonderful people that give up their time, like Rick and Pinstrats Dan, to
yeah,
make sure these things play like they should for you guys, and give those suggestions to Sixtoe and
oh,
others to improve it.
absolutely. Because it's without decent testing. I mean, it's becoming it's somewhat of a meme now about how no one who actually makes VPX pinballs tables can
Yeah,
actually play.
unfortunately, it seems to be a theme lately. I'm hearing.
Yeah, it is. It is. It's
Do you play a
and
lot anymore?
me. No, I. In fact, it's if you want a real horror story, my left and right flippers are mapped to A and S, so so I can use my mouse with the other hand while I'm debugging the code. So
That makes sense, but
yeah,
I'm so
so
sorry for you. I mean, I get it, but I never want to get to the point where I'm creating so much that I don't want to play, because that
yeah.
defeats the purpose for me.
We do play a fair bit when we're testing out specific shots,
Sure.
but what you've got for people like, I mean, Rick and Board, and a few others are really, really good at playtesting because
Right.
they're good at physical pinball, so they can give you the feedback and say it doesn't actually play like that, or something's off, or
Or
something's
they
not
can get to the
right.
wizard mode and tell you this mode's
Yeah,
not working right. Yeah.
exactly, and this is not triggering that, or I mean, Rick does stuff with like feel. It doesn't feel right,
Yeah, Rick's
and
amazing, honestly.
it's quite, it is something where you can actually go, it's not feeling, and you'll look into it, and you go eventually find something that's not quite right, and you're like, okay,
Right.
no, fair play.
I'm actually starting to give you guys that kind of feedback. It doesn't feel right in this area.
Yeah,
I don't know
something's
why.
slightly wrong, and that's sometimes what you need. And sometimes, I mean, Pinstrat Stan, just the amount of testing he does, and the video
And detail he provides.
yeah, the photos. So when someone's playing and they find a problem, having someone go, "Oh, I hit the ball and it vanished," and you're like, "Okay, where?"
Give me a
And then
video.
if someone,
Yeah.
I mean, he videos all of his stuff, so you can actually watch where it vanishes. I did it the other day with something else I'm doing, and I knew exactly where it vanished, and I knew exactly what to do with it, and I had it fixed in 30 seconds because of that video.
I'm
So
only slightly privy to it, but that's why I asked you about leading a project and corralling the troops. I mean,
yeah,
you guys working together is amazing to watch. It's such a pleasure. So, thanks for all you do.
yeah. No worries. It's good fun, and we all do enjoy it. I don't think we'd do it if we didn't.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, sure.
but and it's nice to get feedback as well.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this series. That's why I stream that, and getting people to play pinball with us, each other,
Yep.
That's what it's all about, folks. In doing my research, I know Astro and you guys are very proud of Lord of the Rings. It wasn't something anybody wanted to do, and Astro told me, until he said he was willing to do the whole playful dart, you guys weren't going to do it. But I understand you did that sword. That is gorgeous. How long did it take you to make that?
Well, Tomate did the primitive. He managed to
Okay.
get hold of the primitive of something else, and we had to. That's the handle, because the handle was different than the blade.
Right.
It took a lot of time to balance. If you look at it, there's layers of flashes and lights, and the dagger and the blade are all taken into different parts to get it to glow but still be transparent and still not look ropey. It probably took a good couple of days.
I expected longer. That is some gorgeous work you and Tomate did there. I was looking at the reel table yesterday, and it's just such a cool improvement.
Well, Stern had a weird few years where the artwork was. I mean, to give you the idea, we've often had ideas of replacing the official artwork with other things and pieces, even to keep it the same artwork. Because Sterns of that period that were done in movies, so there's a few, literally used the press kit photos
Right.
as their playfield artwork. So there are actually higher res assets out there from in the film press kits that are exactly the same photos that haven't
And they
been
didn't use them.
butchered, and they didn't use them. They just had this weird butchered, pixelated nonsense on the table, and you go, "You've done a rubbish scan of that," and they're like, "No, it's perfect."
They were
It's just
using their
like-
Barbie, instant camera, the
It's a bit
640
like
by
that.
480 resolution. It's fine.
That's the one. But
Yeah, so, personally, I know you've got a project in the works, probably many, but I'm only privy to a few. And you have blessed us with a reveal today. Would you like to talk about what we're going to reveal after the interview today and what's going on with it? And...
Yeah, it's quite an interesting one, actually.
It looks gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you. It's X-Men, Stern's X-Men limited edition from 2012, and it's based on the version that I did with DJ Rob X back in the day. So that first collaboration I did with him. So it's also maybe the first or the second, or they're probably going to be released pretty close to each other. I'm not sure. We haven't figured out when 10.7.2 is out, because they've been using something that that's been called the Blender Toolkit. A guy called Newak, who you probably hear of comes soon, has come out of nowhere essentially, and has written this amazing piece of scripting and 3D in Blender, where you've got a Blender file and it has all the basic assets. So it's got all, Williams and Stern and everyone used a lot of the same things over and over and over. So you've got a Blender file which has got all this library. You build the table, you tell everything what everything is, and you press go, and it renders the entire table out and all the lights. It's a bit more complicated than that, but it's significantly less complicated than what we did for Judge Dredd or
You've taken a lot of the manual steps out of that, kind of like your VR tool would for creating a VR room.
Yeah, very much. This is if you build a decent version of it and you know where everything goes, we did X-Men in 10 days.
Now you mentioned lighting, and sorry guys, I've seen X-Men, but the positional lighting is what really seems to improve the look to me. Is that right?
The reflections, yeah. So what it does is, what for those of you who don't know, Blender's a 3D rendering tool, and the best thing that Blender does is lighting, because VPX is rubbish at it. It's the biggest number one complaint by any author is VPX.
That's why VPE looks so good, right?
Absolutely. It's basically VPE is. I don't want to say not anything special, because it is special and it's going to be really
different.
Good when it comes out. It uses modern lighting techniques. It uses almost standardized modern lighting techniques, which are good, and everyone knows what modern 3D stuff's like. VPX uses 2003's lighting systems. All of the lights are flat discs. So like
put them here or here.
You imagine a CD. It's literally a CD on the table, and that's the light. So in VR, if the light's 50 units high, you can see underneath it. You can do little things with flashes, like you can angle them so it still looks like it, but it's a lot of faffing about. But what
is that? What you did on? I know it wasn't your project, but GoldenEye had the dish.
Oh,
that had some lighting improvement. Is that what you're talking about with angling down?
No, there's that a little bit, yeah, but there's also all sorts of other things going on with GoldenEye.
Okay, just you don't have to get into it. I was just curious.
No, that stupid radar dish. Um,
I like it.
oh no, it's fine. It's just getting VPX to catch a ball as it's flying through the air with
Sure.
fake magnets.
I can only imagine what you guys deal with.
Yeah.
That's
So
cool insight.
So yeah, it's what it does is the Blender toolkit will it will light up an insert and it will figure out what it affects around it, and it gives everything else a little texture from off of that light. So every time that light comes on, it activates these textures around it. So each light does that, and it gives everything a reflection.
Wow.
And you'll be able to see you'll be able to see when you have a look and you look at Magneto and the ramps.
It was Wolverine that caught my attention.
He looks good.
He looks real. He's, to me, if I were to take a photo of the real table and look at the picture I took, and I'll show those side by side after the interview, it looks real.
Yeah,
it almost looks better than real.
Yeah, we were pleased with it. I must admit, someone showed us a photo of a slightly beaten up version, and our one did look better than a real one. But it was
looks
beaten up,
enameled. It looks like it's. I'll let you guys judge it for yourself. It is incredibly beautiful work. These tables are just getting more and more realistic as we go. The physics are improving. The graphics and Blender. I'm sorry. My ignorance is showing now, but wow, it's cool stuff.
No, it's good. And what he's done was what Newak's done is really good, and time saving.
Thank you.
Yeah. But that's also why you need. He's a bit of a what do you call it? A double threat in that he also is a serious programmer. So he's been updating VPX itself to enable some of this to happen, which is why it needs 10.7.2, because he's been adding code to VPX itself to make some of this possible. So we're not holding on to them because of any particular reason, because we don't. That's not something we do. If it's not,
we don't make it easier for people too, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. What we don't want to do is have to tell people to go and hunt down a beta and go to GitHub and make sure they manage to get the right one, blah, 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 blah.
We get enough complaints about it. It's hard to load a table. We don't need new ones.
Exactly.
So you mentioned there was another one. I'm going to guess that's Twilight Zone, which we've seen a preview of. Is that true?
That's true. Twilight Zone is essentially done. Again, it's just waiting for 10.7.2 so that we get a stable release thing, because we don't want we try really hard when we release stuff that it doesn't need patches. We don't need to.
Well, we discovered with Blood Machines, late in the game, certain machines that weren't involved in the testing might have different issues and work better on a different version of VPX, I think we're seeing that with another table right now too. So you never know.
Blood Machines itself was just stunningly complicated. That was
stunningly original, stunningly beautiful, and very fun to play. I really am enjoying that rule set, the modes.
Yeah, I mean, and that's a fair point actually, because there's we've got people like Defini. And a few other people like that who are really good at designing layouts. So
the flow.
Exactly, and it's the
Steve Riches of virtual pinball, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
these people who do originals that have got a unique layout that aren't rethemes. That's not easy to do.
No. And you need not only technical skill, but creative skill. And
yeah, absolutely.
And then you need to be able to be social and work with other people to make that a reality. It's not easy, and some of us take it for granted.
No, absolutely, and also one of the things that rears its head every now and again in VPX is that we've literally got people in every country.
Yeah.
So it's you're trying to you got English, American, Argentinian, Finnish, French, Spanish.
We have a 4-man interview coming up. I will just tease it a little bit, but one of the men is MPT3K, and I can only imagine what kind of coordination I'm going to have to do between all the different time zones involved there. But we're going to find a way.
Yeah, it's a game.
But it's been great. I mean, I've gotten to meet you in the UK. Remdos was in the Netherlands. I got JP Salas coming up, and this is cool to make the world a smaller place through pinball, isn't it?
Yeah. It's good to it's a shared enjoyment of something.
Just say what you feel. Quit being political.
Yeah.
We're all awesome. You guys are incredible, and I know the fans are really enjoying it because I see them doing it.
And that's
Keep
that's
up the
nice.
great work.
Yeah, if I'd and from the fans, I tell you, I mean that's we touched on it past it. It's nice that people post feedback on. Well, I mean, we upload stuff to VPU, and it's nice when we see with feedback on VPU itself and on the tables and if people have issues, they post on that, and it's handy to know because sometimes it's occasionally the Facebook thing where we don't either see the feedback or even see the problems or anything like that. It's
a good example. Let me tell you about that because I completely agree, and I'm glad you brought that up. Right now, we're playing Atlantis in the weekly competition, and there's a little bug in there that somebody probably found a long time ago and didn't report. So what Toby's saying, I didn't really take to heart too much until I started these interview series. But guys, when you go download these tables, first off, my recommendation to you, you do what you want. Download the table, install it, play it. Then leave your opinion. If you have a problem, put it in the comments so the author's aware. They want to know desperately. They're probably refreshing that page every 5 minutes after release to see what somebody says. And click the heart button. Leave a review. A comment's great, but write a review about what you think. It will help the creators create better stuff based off of your feedback, but it also helps others understand if they are going to like that table. I'm guilty of not doing it enough.
And even if people have problems, I mean, it helps us fix stuff. The last thing we want to hear is that a table's not working from third hand from somewhere else. Because we want stuff to work generally. So it's always appreciated. It's it's like you say, we don't do it for the. You like to know that people enjoy it. It's not for the praise or anything like that. It's more to know that if people are playing it and enjoying it and liking it, and like you say, sometimes if they're not liking it, and what's up.
It's been invaluable. We had Hawkeye's released his G.I. Joe update pup pack, and Xenoph, I think, released his G.I. Joe table. But if they hadn't done, I don't know, I forgot my train of thought.
Broken stuff?
No, I mean, I wasn't aware of it,
No.
But if others hadn't streamed it and reviewed it and talked about it in the Discords, I wouldn't have explored that table. And it would have disappointed me. And in retrospect, when I streamed it the day it released, the author got to be there while I was streaming it and see me struggle with installing the table and the pup per the way the instructions were written. Because, a member needed some help. But that feedback helped him rewrite the instructions in a more readable format. So we need to communicate with each other.
Absolutely, and also it's how you find out some great tables. Unreal Tournament was under the radar until Manu streamed it, and Unreal
Yep.
Tournament's an insane table. That's such a good table.
Okyusan did an incredible job on that, and we'll be having him come up. I do something on Thursdays, we call it Thursday Throwdown, and my intention with that is to highlight a table that doesn't get much attention. Next week is actually Unreal Tournament. Thank you for bringing that game up.
Yeah, it's a great game. I can't remember. I did something on that. I can't remember what it was. Something to do with the back.
It's incredible. It surprises you more than you think it's gonna. It looks visually awesome, but the rule set behind it is a lot of fun.
Yeah, it's proper capture the flag. Properly,
Yeah.
it's actually, because that's its full name, was it Unreal Tournament Capture the Flag?
Yeah, and you can take a headshot.
Yeah, it's great. Godlike. Yeah. But,
So yeah, support your authors, communicate with them. If you want to throw money at somebody, tip them on VPU. There's a little beer icon. Please do, guys. Every little bit helps, and I know these guys take that money and go buy new assets, like new playfield plastics, or they pay a guy to do a playfield scan. So anything you put into VPW, or for that matter here at Game Club Central, it will be put back to you. I can personally guarantee you that. So.
Yeah, if you've seen we have T-shirts and other stuff like that, and we've used all the money to, not that it's not it's only but it's been enough to buy sets of plastics, sets of toys for tables, so we can get. That's from VPU does some 3D scanning for us of our toys, so we buy stuff and send them to him, and he 3D scans them. And
nice. Well, Billy hasn't heard it yet, but he'll be interviewed here too. Yeah, no, great stuff. We're looking forward to more. I appreciate you giving us an exclusive on the X-Men table. I'll flip it around here once we're done talking.
Hope you enjoy it.
I know I will. I can't talk about Fight Club, but I can show it, and they can judge for themselves.
Yep.
It has been my greatest pleasure to get to know you today. Thank you for some of your time, and thank your family for letting me have you during dinner time.
No worries.
I'd like to leave the last words for you before we say goodbye. Is there anything else you'd like to say to the community, or get off your chest, or?
So anything I want to say, the future's looking good for visual pinball, digital pinball. VPE, not necessarily around the corner tomorrow, but on its way. Tools that we're making and everyone's making to make life easier. More participation in the community. Lots of people helping each other. I don't think hardly anyone makes stuff in isolation anymore. I can only see it getting better, hopefully.
That is wonderful. Sorry, I had a little interruption.
No worries.
All right. Yeah, no, this has been wonderful. The future kind of is already here. I mean, since we all started staying at home a little more, thanks to the end of the world that came about a few years ago, I think we've seen more tools and more improvements.
And there's a certain amount of the stuff that I did was I'm inside in front of my computer. I'm going to try and make stuff. Yeah. Learn a new skill. I now know how Blender works and how this works and VPX works, and
you are amazing. Well. Scripting, blending, smacking, flipping, rubbing down. You are cooking up some tasty treats, sir.
I try.
Pizza with me.
No worries.
Well, I'm gonna step over here, fire up the cab, and hopefully, unlike with my board interview, I actually know what I'm doing this time, and I don't have any issues, and Retro Geek doesn't have to help me rescue me. So I'd like to say goodbye to the audience. You've all been great. We always appreciate you coming. When this gets posted on YouTube, if you would, leave some comments, give us your feedback. Not only does it draw more attention to the video, but it also draws attention to the creators. So we appreciate it. All the links below in the description for Sixtoe's work, as well as VPin Workshop, and any other thing we've talked about today, like the pin cab template tool and some of the other features. So goodbye from me and Toby.
And the dog's Instagram page.
And the dog's Instagram page. Yes, I will not forget that if you're willing to share. Because now I need to join that. Well, thank you, Toby.
Okay.
If you would, say goodbye, everyone.
See you later, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. Any questions, then let us know. Take care.
Yep. Thanks, everybody. Good night.
Good night.
Crap. It's not working. I screwed it up, guys. Did I wink? Hold on. I might be having a stroke. I can't tell. I'm lying to you. It's working. It's my pleasure, Joe. Are you ready? Let's go.
X-Men! Magneto is attacking the UN summit! We must stop him!
How's it look? Oh, Randy Savage is in my way. Thank you, Really Baked. That's nice. Well, don't thank me for the interview. It was Sixtoe. I hope soon to provide you somebody in witness protection. That'll be a fun one. Joe, we need to talk about a layout with a few extra squares in it. Maybe one day we can do a Hollywood Squares stream. If any of you steal that from me, it'll be okay. Just make it your own, will you? It's my idea. Thanks. It's a little ways out, guys, and I can't give you a date, but what I can tell you is, and Sixtoe addressed it in the interview, much like, I'm sorry, Manu distracted me. Damn you, Manu. Twilight Zone. This has the new lighting. If you'll look, it has hasty 3D modeling. I mean, I just want to eat Wolverine and Magneto. They're so shiny and delectable. Yes, I have the MagnaSave option. I have the color DMD. I have the limited edition Wolverine backglass. I think I have everything good for you guys. For once. Watch. I will open mouth and insert foot any second. Probably with the play. He did. That's correct. I got feedback from all of the creators for what it's worth.
I already know your name.
Some of which provided feedback. Some contributed and helped me get more of you to come watch. So thanks to everybody for being a part of this. It's truly just to have fun, bring awareness, put a name to a face, and celebrate those that give it their spare time forward to find the mutant, but also to create these wonderful things for you to enjoy at home. So, did you get the monitor menu?
Who wants some?
I don't know the table real well, but it's got a nice flow to it. You can figure out the shots pretty easy.
Sacrifices must be made if my dreams are to
When you get a villain going, which you do in this hole here, you can send X-Men after him to attack him.
Is that the best you got?
So I'm sorry, I kind of missed the question and got distracted to myself. But much like Twilight Zone, this one's going to require what they're calling VPX 10.72. It's not a release candidate yet, but it's coming soon and should be ready in the very near future. I'll just say it'll be ready when it's done. Enough said. But my estimates say anywhere from 3 weeks to 6 weeks. I don't know how good of an estimate that is, though. I gotta be honest. Yeah, well, beyond that,
Let's suit up.
the play is greatly improved over the old table. I've been flipping both today.
Pawns go first, and our second.
This is amazing. It sounds better. It looks better. It plays better. Sadly, it doesn't help me play better.
Mutant target identified.
But it's wonderful.
Unit damage severe.
Gotta send Wolverine after.
You're next, man. You're never alone.
What are you waiting for? Get your butts inside the Blackbird.
Assistance required.
Mutants are the future. We will soon replace mankind.
And Magneto will sling your balls, if you didn't know.
Unit damage.
Give me that back. Thank you. Give me that one back. I wasn't ready. Can I have that one back, dude? Just one more. Thank you. I promise I'll be good this time. Meaning I'll behave. I won't be any better. Did I get the Sentinel? Alright. Catch up on chat. Thanks for the follow, Major Drain. Lighting is insane. Check skid head. See you, Ray, if you already left, sorry. No, I think it's... Well, I mean, it's just based on the comic in general, is what I'm noticing. So...
You, my friend, are a mutant, and I have need of you.
I didn't like it too much earlier. I've played it a lot more. I'm starting to get into it, mostly because I love the X-Men. Some of the voices I don't like. I need to look and see. I would love to have the 90s X-Men animated cartoon voices. That would be cool. For me.
You are so naive.
Oh, that's stupid. I was naive. X-Men was my first love. I found it because of a mini-series called Long Shot. Never heard of it.
You're hot stuff, don't you?
He's not in this game, but... that introduced me to the X-Men.
get to the Blackbird.
Let's try that again.
Then I worked in a comic store for a little while. Collected a lot of them. I currently have 1 through 300. Not all are in great shape, but I have them. So you might say I have a problem. I cart paper around the country in sealed plastic containers, inside of sealed plastic bags with acid-free cardboard behind each mat.
X-Men, get to the Blackbird. We are needed. Blackbird ready to take off.
Can't get the Cyclops. He's elusive.
Don't move!
I moved. Aw, man. The move. There's Cyclops. I know I'm missing Phoenix or Storm, but that's okay.
Attacking me with metal objects? How futile.
Mr. Borg taught me one trick, but I haven't been able to pull it off yet.
Rival.
You see that smooth action? Sweet ramp action. What table am I going to reveal tonight?
Good today, people.
It's the David Hasselhoff tribute table. Are you ready? I'll stop playing this right now and show it to you. I should take a poll. I have to at least finish this game, Astra. Oh, you mean play it. I'll get you now. They're gonna complain about it. Trying to make people feel better if they weren't good playing X-Men.
Juggernaut, as in the unstoppable Juggernaut? The totally invulnerable Juggernaut?
Somebody has to be the approachable pinball player. You're all experts, top players. Nobody will ask you questions. But if you go down the drain while you're talking to some random invisible person on the internet, they'll think you're normal in some weird way. Unless you do it twice. And then they'll probably leave. Alright, I would now tell you I'm about to play a real game. But it never fails. When you get cocky, you lose. So I'm going to tell you that I have no idea what I'm going to do, and I'm going to play a very poor game here. And I have FSF turned up. I'm not sure how that sounds on stream. I'm experimenting. Not even all the way up. But it's up.
Blackbird hangar lights on. Prepare to launch.
Right, old man, grandpa of pinball.
Let's dance.
Thank you for coming. Every Sunday at 10.
That gets me.
Hopefully, we don't keep you up too late. It's incredible, guys. The modeling works, the physics changes have made it much smoother to hit shots. Seems more like they were meant to be. I am no expert. I'm not Pinstrat Stan, and I'm not Bearded Rick. I barely have a goatee. That was a horrible game, Hollywood, but I appreciate the encouragement.
Sacrifices must be made if my dreams are to reach fruition. Sorry, bub. I'm here to stay.
Hello, my fellow sapiens. My name is Hank McCoy, but my friends call me Beast. I'm gonna need a bigger brush.
Let's get the Blackbird in the air.
It's...
Move your car, ladies and gentlemen.
I don't know what I am anymore.
I'll jam that ball down your throat.
Ah.
Back off, bub. Juggernaut, as in the unstoppable Juggernaut? The totally invulnerable Juggernaut? No one gets in my way! Who wants that?
Time for some target practice.
Oh, please, Charles. Your X-Men will have to do better than that. I've captured another ball. Every now and then, Summers, I remember why you're still in charge.
I just, if he's already left, then I'm sorry it was so grainy for you. Probably thought it was too dark.
Is that the best you got? I'm trying not to turn you bozos into hamburgers. Now back off!
But thanks, Astrid.
I am power. Humans
We call him Nicey.
Magneto.
Hollywood is not a bot.
your hot stuff.
You can catch Hollywood Polo on Todd Russell's stream every week. It's during the day if you're bored at work. But if you're watching at home at YouTube, this has been X-Men. Not played very well. Just for you. When I get a good game, you'll see a little wipe. And I'll put it at the end of the video. Thanks for coming.